Greetings, everyone, and welcome to N-D-X, Zone Zero, what might possibly be the strangest game I've ever played. I am the Hipster Snek, and this is the game simply known as Off. Originally created by French indie game dev Mortis Ghost in 2008, the game was translated into English 3 years later. If all you saw of it was any one random battle, you might be forgiven for interpreting it as just another RPG Maker game. But I am here to tell you, this frankly amazing indie RPG is so much more than it first appears. In fact, one of the beautiful elements about Off is describing the game will just confuse you. Describing the plot in particular will definitely confuse you. I've beaten the game a couple times over, and it still confuses me. So I'm going to do my best to, in brief, really explain why Off is amazing and you should play it, even if you're left confused in the aftermath. Let's begin with the graphics, the first of four elements. The graphics of Off are a thing of wonder. Stark, black and white sprites represent the characters and enemies, with sharp, monochromatic backgrounds make everything in this game just pop. Everything is memorable and distinct. Even the puzzles are conveyed using very simple but clearly defined graphics, oftentimes in the form of floating cubes. There is a decided beauty in this game's minimalism, as you're rarely left wondering what it is you're looking at. Most items get a description in some form, but the abstraction from this amazing world building, occasionally using what appears to be scans from history texts to illustrate the bizarre reality this world inhabits, this is all just mind-blowing, and it's really well done. Next is the sound, the first of four elements. Frankly, the soundtrack is the first thing to pop out in terms of sound design, especially the battle theme, Pepper Steak. It's so discordant, and you know what, I'm just gonna let it play here for a moment. Seriously, listen to it. It's so cacophonic, and yet it's catchy. I don't have a word for it. Cacophonic? The soundtrack lends itself just how bizarre and surreal it all is. Sound effects are great, though rather mundane by comparison. It works perfectly for what it's trying to convey. There's no way it can't fall by the wayside between the strange soundtrack and weird visuals. For example, the random NPCs, called Elsons, have this sort of sigh audio clip that cues when you speak with them. The recurring merchant Zachary has a knowing chuckle. Every character can be readily identified by a simple audio clip, and it adds to this game's already amazing iconography. Next, let's talk about the gameplay, the first of four elements. The main game is played more or less like a traditional turn-based RPG, which the game itself draws attention to. However, you'll quickly notice a lot of minor, subtle differences. For starters, your party consists of the strange figure known only as the Batter and 3 add-ons. Apparently sentient hoops who obey the Batter's commands, Alpha, Omega, and Epsilon. Each has different special moves all their own, like how the Batter has the save-based series of abilities which heal himself or the add-ons. You'll also notice they have, elemental attacks. Not fire and water exactly, but Off's four elements: meat, smoke, metal, and plastic. As I've said before, explaining this really only makes it worse, so just accept it at face value and really let yourself get drawn into this world. And lastly, let's talk about the world and the story, spoiler-free of course, the first of four elements. We enter the world in Zone Zero, effectively a tutorial area where we're instructed in the ways of combat and puzzle solving, the game's two big features, by a cat named the Judge. Afterwards, we see a minimalist world map including Zones 1, 2, and 3, each with their own themes and motifs. When we venture into Zone 1, we'll receive our first add-on and starting abilities, and we'll learn about the first elements that comprise the world and their roles. Like, in this world, people eat meat, which comes out of never-ending meat fountains. I'm not thinking about that too hard. Or smoke, which is mined out from the underground and required for breathing. Zone 2 actually has a bit of a maze surrounding subsections branching off from a library and, but it just said smoke was, you know what, I'm gonna put that back on the shelf. The beauty of Off is just how simple its storytelling conventions actually are. The characters are comfortable in their world, and it doesn't matter if you are or not. And it tells you things that you need to know in a very matter-of-fact way. It creates a certain level of cognitive dissonance that only intensifies with subtle hints that the story itself might well be inspired by strong culturally Christian roots, linking itself back to its French origins. None of this helps really contextualize this information, though. If anything, knowing that makes what unfolds even stranger. The true excellence in this game is the fact that it wastes 0 of your time. Sure, you may need to grind a little bit here and there, but not often. The game can be beaten at relatively low levels, and mundane status ailments you gain access to pretty early on, like poison, will remain effective until the game's conclusion. At that point, it's just a matter of trying to find all the secrets and Easter eggs the game's left for you, and for you to draw your own conclusions on what the story of Off actually is. Perhaps the strangest and arguably the most intriguing part of the story is the main character himself, the Batter. He speaks freely and acknowledges the player behind the screen as his guide multiple times. The Batter's class is actually listed as Savior, and his job is to purify the spectral entities haunting each of the zones. His role in this world is not only one of the best aspects of the lore, but also one that can be debated at some great length. Depending on your views of what's actually happening, it can be just about anything. But that might be saying too much. He's definitely a character worthy of further analysis, but you might want to beat the game before you try and think about it too hard. Are you ready for the best part? Off is freeware. Yes, anyone with a PC can download and play the game right now. Link to the Off's wiki download page will be provided in the description of the video below. Off is a beautiful, wonderful, quirky, bizarre, dark, engaging, and amazing game that doesn't overstay its welcome. Take your time and get lost in this incredible world, designed and drawn by Mortis Ghost and music credited to alias Conrad Coldwood. You absolutely owe it to yourself if anything you've seen or heard here today makes you even the remotest bit curious. Download it, play it. It won't take you long to beat it. When you're done, feel free to comment down below on what you thought it all meant, if anything at all. This has been the Hipster Snek, and thank you for joining me on another piece of N-D-X-Cellence. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and bell icons to always be alerted to when new videos drop. A new video will debut every Monday of some stripe, be it obscure reviews, N-D-X, or a third series starting soon. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and help spread the word to get the channel growing. And lastly, if you want to show me the color of your credits, you can even join my Subscribe Star page for exclusive goodies and rewards. Join me here next time as we delve into another amazing game. I hope to see you there.